Welcome to AI Wins. And this is the podcast where we dive into the wild world of AI and automation, and how it's shaking things up in which we didn't even imagine. I'm your host, Jay, and this is the first of many episodes to come where we bring on show people who are actually doing it, who are actually making AI work for real businesses. And for the first ever episode, we have got on show Gus McLennan, Managing Director of Propella AI. Welcome on the show, Gus.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Joe.
Lovely, lovely having you here as well. So I know bits and pieces about you, but let's start from who you are and how Propeller AI came into being and the inspiration behind it.
Sure. So Gus McLennan, I'm the Managing Director of Propella AI. I've got 20 plus years experience in the IT industry. And for the last 6 years, I've been running Propeller, which is a data and AI consultancy. Really for us, the focus over the last 2 years has been exploring how we can use generative AI and how we can help other firms start to leverage this amazing technology.
And you mentioned that you kicked off Propeller AI 6 years back, but how did you see AI as a catalyst for business transformation across industries?
Yeah, listen, I still remember that first moment when I actually used ChatGPT. This would have
Yeah,
been, probably the start of 2023, and
yeah,
we were all sitting around a table. We had it on a screen, and we all looked at each
yeah.
other and said, "Well, what are we even going to ask?" And we also do property analytics as part of our business, and one of the directors said, "Ask it. What are some of the factors that you need to consider when you're looking at the valuation of a commercial office property?" And so we put it in,
Okay.
and it just spat out this information. And he just turned to me and went, "That just generated in 5 seconds what took me 3 years to teach you, Gus." And from there, I was kind of hooked. I saw, even today, I still think it's truly magical the way it does what it
Yes.
does. So
Yeah.
really for us, we've had. So we decided, we needed to focus on this. This was AI that, unlike sort of more sort of narrow AI that's sort of very specific around image recognition or something like that,
Yeah.
generative AI is truly general purpose technology which can be deployed into any organization,
It
in
is.
on the
It
on
is.
the
It is.
planet. And so that really has been sort of our focus. Um, so yeah.
I remember the very first time I started fiddling with GPT as well, and to use your word, it's truly magical. And even to this day, the feeling that it never goes away. And you directly pointed out that generative AI, you can use it for any general perspectives or any general purpose for businesses. But in that case, how do you believe that businesses can leverage and use AI to turn heaps and large amounts of data into actionable insights?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'll cover off the data aspect second. But the first thing that I
Yeah,
would say is that, for us, we talk about the fact that generative AI is like the Swiss Army knife for knowledge workers, in the sense that it's this multi-use tool, that enables you to do a whole bunch of different stuff. So you can do text generation, whether that's emails or proposals or marketing content. You can do summarization, so you can take documents and start to extract sort of what the key insights, whether they're contracts or presentations, anything like that. It allows you to do reasoning now, so you can have a conversation with the AI and start to strategize and to do planning or to prepare for some sort of negotiation. It allows you to do knowledge retrieval. So when we're starting to talk about
yes,
vast amounts of data,
yeah,
as long as you can get that data into an order, into a state, and that in itself is a fair bit of work for most firms. Their data
it
estate
is.
tends to be not really sort of in the pristine condition that ideally you'd like it to be for an AI model. But then the ability to be able to get the AI to actually crawl over that particular data and start to actually respond with responses of this knowledge retrieval is another huge huge use case. And then that the sort of the list goes on from there. But really, to my mind, really what organisations need to be doing is trying to identify those opportunities where they can unlock the value of some of the data, or some of the value of the data that they're currently sitting on within their organisations, and
Exactly.
that requires understanding what those use cases are, being able to work out how the platform can actually execute on them, but also being able to make sure that they've got their data in a state that allows them to be able to take full benefit of the AI models and what they can do.
Exactly, because I read this insight somewhere, I cannot remember where, but it mentioned that the AI tools that are out there are only accessing 10% of the public information, not public, the information that's already being generated. 90% of it is already behind firewalls and behind the red taping of the organizations. So if the AI can use and do its own magic tricks with the 10% of what it can is already on, imagine what it can do with the 90%.
Yeah, totally, totally. That being said, you know, there's still, that you need to be prepared to classify that data and make sure that the data is being maintained in a way that sort of works responsibly and
Yeah,
safely for your organisation. To give you an example, we turned on Copilot within
yeah,
one of our particular clients, and all of a sudden, all of these documents that were sitting in SharePoint became very findable. And so, you could start to do some queries, you could ask about, payroll information, all sorts of stuff. And, the AI can find this stuff a lot better than any human can, kind of trawling through directories. So, you know, that's the double-edged sword here, is that you want to be able to unlock the value associated with that
yeah.
data without actually jeopardizing, your operations, or the nature of that data.
One key message that you just mentioned in your previous answer was that we are recreating or reinventing ways in which we are doing work, crawling through pages of work and then preparing just before a presentation using AI. These are new things for employees. In this case, you yourself, along with Propeller AI, has come up with this amazing training program called AI Dojo in order for employees to embrace your solutions better, your clients' employees. I mean, what's the brainchild behind AI Dojo and how exactly does it work?
Yeah, no, listen, this was sort of a bit of an evolution of ours. We were working with, a large um, multidisciplinary advisory firm that sort of,
Yep,
we're co-located with, and we've been able to develop a lot of our sort of AI solutions, sort of, with their assistance, basically having a living, breathing customer,
yep,
that we sit alongside, and we developed a solution for them, what we call a sort of a chat foundation
yeah,
platform, which is sort of similar to ChatGPT.
yeah,
They decided to call theirs Ask Dwayne. It was named after Dwayne Johnson, who's a sort of a bit of a folk hero.
The Rock.
Yep, The
Yeah,
Rock. Within that particular organisation, and what we found is that the adoption was pretty good, but the CEO of the company came to me and said, "Listen, I love Dwayne. I use Dwayne every hour of every day, when I'm
yeah,
actually sitting at my desk and, doing something on my computer. Um,
yeah,
how do we actually start to get the rest of these employees thinking this way, though? And how do we really drive this
yeah,
adoption and get that maximum sort of leverage?" And so we'd always said that, one of the things we wanted to do was to take all of these users and turn them into prompt ninjas. So, able to do proper prompting and really take sort of best advantage of the AI when you're actually sort of running queries and asking questions of it. So, following on from that sort of martial arts theme, we decided to create this thing called the AI Dojo, and the intention was that it was going to be an optional session in person. We'd run it once a week. We did it on a
yeah,
Tuesday morning from 8:30 a.m. till 9.
Yeah.
Come if you want to, bring your laptop if you want to, or otherwise. And essentially, we just prepared some content, but it was very much about
Mhm.
just sort of taking people through practical uses.
Yes.
here's a contract that we have. Here's some of the things we can do with it. Here's an image that we might have of a group structure. How do we actually get the AI to analyze that image and actually report on
Mm.
it? So we had the whole idea was to have a whole bunch of sort of useful tips and tricks, as well as sort of instructional, practical examples. And
Yeah. Yeah.
we also covered off some sort of future trend stuff as well. So every time we had a session on the new reasoner model that OpenAI released with their
Yeah.
Chat O1 model. So
Yeah. The Omni One model.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's been, and really, we've got to the point now where, some of these power users have felt comfortable to get up in front of the firm and talk. And, when we started running those sessions, there was about 250 people in the office, and
Okay.
we had over 100 people turn up just to that first session. And then, we've had,
That's over 40% of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we've had pretty consistent numbers. And I think, it's very much about, yeah, bringing everyone in and getting the crowd,
Yes.
starting to think about this and sort of sharing how they're working, because everyone's going to adopt at a different pace. But if you can start to actually
Yeah.
formulate this group, the intention is that the ones that are stronger hopefully help drag the weaker ones along. But yeah, and it's also, I think it's very much, one of the, we talk about these sort of AI guiding principles, and the first AI guiding principle is that AI needs a seat at the table. So you need to be thinking about how can the AI, assist you with your particular task. It's not going to replace you, definitely not yet, but how can it assist you? How can it make you do something faster, more comprehensively, more creatively? Yeah, there's just these different ways that, yeah.
I don't ever think that AI would replace people because the nature of humanity is built on such a foundation itself that AI or any technology that would be built out there would not be able to replicate that. That's one. And the AI Dojo is a very crafty and a clever program because, as the saying goes, your fastest as the slowest in your pack.
Mm.
And if you're not teaching the slowest one out there to pack on the bags and get on this journey, the solution is not as smart as it should be.
Yeah.
Uh, you kind of answered my next question as well, where I wanted you to kind of highlight a success story where it is impacting the client's growth and efficiency. But of course, without divulging any names, is there any other success story that you would like to share with us?
Well, yeah, no, like talking about that particular firm, like we've done a number of sort of use cases where we've
Yeah.
worked with firms and we've been able to help them reduce time from sort of 8 hours down to 10 minutes by uploading a whole bunch of invoices and being able to use AI automation tools to suck the data out. But I think the real use case that I think has sort of been the strongest one has been working with this particular firm who we developed the AI Dojo. So one of the things that we were tracking was sort of we track a whole bunch of usage stats, and so what we found is that when we kicked this program off, and we only did it at the start of September,
Yeah.
we doubled the amount of usage between August and September. And then we nearly doubled again from September to October. So we've seen this dramatic uplift in usage, and that's, we measure that as chats, but that's also in terms of the number of users that are starting to get on board. And the interesting thing is that while we've been running the platform now for about 12 months for this particular firm, one of their
Yeah.
key metrics is revenue per user or revenue per employee. And I think they track it across the whole group, and then sort of their fee earners, because they're a sort of a consultancy.
Charged by the hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what they've actually been tracking as well is the fact that their revenue per user has actually been sort of trending upwards across the 12 months. Now, we probably can't solely attribute that to Dwayne and everything that he's doing. I think they've got a number of
Yeah.
sort of other initiatives, but
Factors.
really,
Yeah.
really, I see that as sort of one of those sort of metrics that really talks about the sort of the macro benefits. You know, you'll get some discrete benefits which might be associated with a single person or a single team, where they're getting
Yeah,
some efficiencies or some sort of productivity improvements. But if you want to start measuring how AI is starting to impact at a firm wide level, looking at a metric like revenue per employee, particularly for sort
yeah,
of, I think for sort of professional services firms like accounting firms,
yeah.
it's definitely one of those metrics that you should be measuring. And as I said, you can't probably contribute all of the all of those sort of improvements, assuming you're getting them
Yes.
to the AI platform, but it's definitely contributing.
Revenue per head is increasing, and Dwayne is doing its thing
Yeah,
for
there's a
multiple
there's a
firms.
strong correlation between the revenue per FTE uplift and the usage of the platform. And I think really a lot of that is around, we're at the point now where, as we've said, in the short term, AI isn't going to actually replace any headcount, but
Yeah.
it's really now about how can you do more with the existing staff base that you have, and that's really where the opportunity is at the moment on driving those productivity and those efficiency gains.
Exactly, building on the capacity, doing more with less.
Yep.
That's what this era of AI is all about. Uh, we spoke of the pros, but we should also speak of the challenges when it comes to uh, what companies would encounter, especially around using AI for data analysis. Since you are dealing closely with business owners and CEOs, how can these business leaders effectively navigate the challenges around using AI for data analysis and even beyond?
Yeah, listen, it's there's the challenges are many at the moment, and I think some of that is just um, the nature of the technology as it is. Like most people will
Yes.
be aware that sometimes when it doesn't know, it just hallucinates,
Yes.
and that in itself, can really undermine a lot of trust. And so a lot of that, and this is what we talk about in those dojo sessions, is we sort of have this saying which is trust but verify, and making sure that there's a human in the loop, making sure that anything that's actually generated by the AI, whether it's a customer communication, some sort of
Yeah.
document, some sort of calculation, that
Yeah.
someone's at least checked it and verified it. So I think there's challenges there around sort of AI usage. We've sort of discussed a little bit adoption.
Yes.
Adoption is still very much a challenge. You can have the best AI solution, you know, that's out in the market, but if
Yeah.
you're not teaching your staff how to use it properly, then you're never going to be able to maximize the benefit and leverage that you can get from it. So, being able to start to build that AI muscle for all of your staff, so that they have that awareness and they start to understand when is a great time to be able to use it, and when potentially isn't. There may be other times where it just doesn't make sense to use that. You kind of need to go back and handcraft something as well.
Exactly. Because certain people believe, I would say majority believe that AI is the silver bullet
Yeah,
for each and everything. And it shouldn't be the case.
yeah,
AI is a component of the solution, not the solution itself.
yeah. The only other,
And
yeah, sorry, on that,
no, go ahead.
the only other challenge that I'd really say a lot of companies are facing at the moment, particularly those that have actually sort of got going on their journey and are starting to
Yeah.
actively use AI, is that they're still finding that there's these challenges in being able to integrate AI into their workflow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It is. I guess I firmly believe that we are just at the start of a good AI summer. So let's see. Let's see what the future holds. But in amongst all of this, data privacy, security, and the responsible use of AI are topics that are not often talked about. In Propeller AI's case, where does Propeller AI and your vision stand for the responsible use of AI along data security? Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, yeah, yes, yep, yes, yeah, yeah, unknowingly. Seems like Propeller AI is way ahead of the curve in and encouraging the responsible use of AI as well. So, in conclusion, maybe looking ahead, what trends or advancements do you think in the space of AI will shape the future of business, and how do you see Propeller positioning itself as a leader in this space? It is. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah. They do. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's gonna be. Yeah. Or in the years to follow. And AGI is something that I'm waiting for as well. I read the same paper, and AGI is, it sounds awesome. But closing off, if our audience wants to get in touch with you, what would be the best way? And yeah, lovely. So there you heard Gus. Gus is on LinkedIn, and I will share Gus's LinkedIn links as well once the show is released on the show notes. Just one quick one, Gus, before we break off. What are those two AI tools or non-AI tools that you cannot live without on a daily basis? If I was to ask, it could be propeller solutions or it could be non-propeller solutions. Yes. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Gotcha. But Gus, thank you so much. Thanks a lot for being part of the first ever episode of AI Wins. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the show for the day. And we'll be with you again with another awesome personality who's making waves in the world of AI and how and truly we can learn from it. Thanks so much.